One of the best ways to stay ahead in fantasy basketball is to work the wire and flip players who are outperforming their ADP. But sometimes the biggest mistake you can make is trading away the wrong guy too early. Every year, there are players who look like sell-high candidates, players who look like they're due to fall off at any moment, but they're actually the reason why your team stays competitive. Today, I'm breaking down 5 players that you should not trade, do not drop, and you should absolutely keep on your roster if you want to stay in the playoff picture. Welcome back to The Corner, your #1 destination for everything fantasy basketball related. Every week, I'm breaking down the perfect waiver pickups, the smartest trade targets, and all the moves you need to stay ahead in your league. If you've been enjoying the content here on this channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a single upload. And with that being said, let's get into the video. If you have been watching this channel, this first name should not be a surprise at all. I've been high on Kevin Porter Jr. since the second the season tipped off, and honestly, my reasoning has only gotten stronger over the past couple of days. Kevin Porter Jr. is a walking calamity for defenses in the NBA. He can create his own shot from anywhere in the court. He's super explosive, and the entire Bucks offense just flows differently when he's on the floor. You can literally see the pace pick up, the spacing open up on the floor, and the role players instantly look more comfortable because he's taking pressure off of everyone else. Now, all these things are really good reasons why you should have Kevin Porter Jr. on your roster, but I'm going to address the biggest problem when it comes to Porter Jr. because yes, there is one problem, and it's one of the only reasons why managers like me are starting to panic just a little bit. The injuries are constant. They are non-stop. Since the season has started, he has been injured. He started the season hot, scoring about 10 points in about 5 minutes, and then he twisted his ankle on his teammate's foot. He came back in practice, tore his meniscus, came back again, and now he's dealing with a back injury in his second game back. It has been frustrating, I can tell you that much. I get it. It feels like every time you get excited, he ends up just back on the injury report again. But here's the thing. You need to stay patient with KPJ. He is an absolute gem of a fantasy player. And when you find guys like this, you do not sell early. You do not drop them out of frustration. You do not panic. You have to hold them. Even with all the stoppages and setbacks this season, he's already shown you exactly why he's special. The shot creation, the pace pushing, efficient scoring, playmaking, you name it. He brings every single fantasy category you want outside of blocks. And once he gets back to his consistent minutes, you're going to be thrilled that you kept him on your roster. This is the type of player who can win you matchups, flat out. He can swing weeks in your direction and give you a consistent about 40 fantasy points per night without breaking a sweat. So stay patient. Don't let the injury scare you away from him. And do not be the manager who trades him for penny just because you're annoyed. KPJ is worth the wait, I promise you. Next on this list is going to be Collin Sexton, and his situation is a little bit different from everyone else I've talked about so far. Sexton has basically been an afterthought in Charlotte. If you watched the video from Monday, I mentioned this as well, which is honestly crazy considering how important and prominent he was over in Utah for the last couple of years. But things are starting to shift in his favor in Charlotte. Let's be honest, at this point, we all understand the Charlotte Hornets are a dumpster fire. They have been a sore spot for the league for the past couple of years, and the vibes are at an all-time low. Yes, they hit the draft lottery with Concanopal. He is fantastic. With Ryan Kalkbrenner, he's also fantastic. But as a team, they just can't seem to buy a win, and that's a problem. And when teams hit that point, they start to realize the young core just isn't quite enough, and that's when veterans like Sexton comes into play, and he finds himself back inside of the important minutes mix. And that's what we're starting to see right now for the Hornets. Sexton this season is averaging about 16 points a night on 26 minutes a night, and he's been doing it on a solid efficiency, which is great. And I'm not saying he's going to turn around and be one of the all-time league-winning players. That's probably not going to happen, but what can happen, and what I think we're about to start to see in Charlotte, is a bump in responsibility for Collin Sexton, and more importantly, more consistent minutes. And for fantasy, that is all you need. If Collin Sexton moves up into that 30 to 32 minute range, he instantly moves into a stable 30 fantasy points player. And in deeper leagues, that is gold. That's pretty much all you need to stay competitive week to week. Even in shallow leagues, if he is able to average 30 points per night and then also ramp up to around 40 to 45 on some given nights, this is a player who can help stabilize your team if you're starting to deal with injuries on your main roster. So do not overlook Collin Sexton. Do not write him off because Charlotte is a mess. This is exactly when you want to stash a player like Sexton on your roster before the role officially changes. Next up, we have Zach Edey, and honestly, he has been one of the more exciting players that I've talked about in these videos. Edey started off the season late after dealing with a bunch of injuries over the summer, but even with the delayed start, he's off to a really solid start to his second year campaign. And the scary part is he is nowhere near how good he is going to be in the NBA quite yet. Once he fully ramps up, the production is only going to get better for Zach Edey. Edey is already carving out a very real role for the Grizzlies. You can feel his presence every single time he's on the floor. The rebounding, the size, the easy putbacks is exactly what Memphis has been missing to start off the season. And with the Grizzlies currently sitting at 9th in the West, they needed him to keep trending upward in order for them to be competitive in the West. And here's where things get really fun. Ja Morant right now is still currently dealing with his calf strain, and he clearly has no timetable to return. But when he does return, it's going to open up the offense even more if Ja can be Ja. The spacing will improve, the pace increases, and that means Edey is going to get so many easy looks at the basket. Easy dump offs, easy drop offs, easy lob opportunities, you name it. He is going to have a blast on this offense. His efficiency is going to rise even more from just being on the floor with Ja Morant. So if you have Zach Edey, you hold on to him. I think that's a no-brainer. If he's somehow available in your league, you need to go grab him today. I'm not sure why your league is sleeping on him this bad that he is free in your league. The early numbers are already solid, but what's coming next in the second half of the season is going to be 10 times better. Trey Murphy has quietly been one of the best and most important players on the Pelicans roster this season. The entire roster has been hammered with injuries, and it's been really unfortunate. Do not panic and do not trade Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is a player that you're going to hold on to and weather pretty much any type of adversity that comes his way. He's a little banged up as of right now, so let him get healthy and be patient. Murphy's shooting numbers are down from last season. Even though his percentages are up, he's taking around 1.5 shots less per game this season, which is contributing to him averaging about a point less per game. And that's where my concern comes from him. But when you look deeper, the dip kind of makes sense. The Pelicans have been playing without structure for the entirety of the season so far. They have been missing Zion. Derek Queen got added into the lineup a little bit late. They're missing a bunch of starters and asking Murphy to take on a lot of tough, high difficulty shots just to keep them afloat. And that's not his primary optimal type of game. But here's why you hold on to him throughout this current rough patch. Those shooting splits will normalize over the year. Trey Murphy has always been one of the most efficient off-ball scorers in the league, and historically, elite shooters don't stay cold forever. The process is still good, the movement is good, the attempts are there. He just needs the team around him to stabilize to help his numbers stabilize as well. And now that we have Derek Queen starting to emerge as well, and Zion was training to being healthy again, but now he's just been announced he's out for the next 3 weeks. We're about to start to see defenses tighten up the interior to stop the big men from scoring as easy. That means Murphy is going to start getting cleaner and easier catch and shoot looks, easier drives, and way more rhythm shots in his arsenal. Those are the situations where he thrives the best. Trey Murphy currently is the most important piece for the Pelicans, and he is going to be a huge part of a fantasy roster if you have him. Now, this next player is a player who I get asked about all the time. Every single week I see comments asking, should I trade Josh Hart? Now that he's finally hooping well again, should I trade Josh Hart because he's starting to look good? The answer is absolutely not. What are we talking about? We're not trading Josh Hart. Let's take a step back and just think about it and really look about what's happening right now. Last year, Josh Hart had one of his best seasons of his entire career. Not because he was some elite scorer or anything else. It was because he literally does everything on the court. He gets points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, hustle plays, all the little things that don't show up on the highlight reels, but win you your fantasy matchups. And what we're seeing right now is the same version of Josh Hart, just finally catching up in 2025, 2026. His minutes are starting to ramp up, coming back from the injury, and the Knicks need him to play well with all the injuries that they're currently dealing with right now. And he's filling every single gap on both ends of the floor. This is exactly the type of player that you hold on to because his value isn't tied to a hot shooting streak or an inflated role. It's tied to his all-around production. And that's what makes him stable, makes him safe, and extremely valuable from week to week. If you roster Josh Hart, you do not give him up. And honestly, if you're looking to trade for someone right now, I think Josh Hart is probably the best buy low option on the market. He's not flashy, but he is super reliable. And reliability, I think, wins you your weeks. As we enter the sink or swim portion of the NBA season, these are the 5 players you absolutely need to keep rostered. Don't fall for the trade rumors. Don't panic after a slow week. These guys have real league winning potential as we get closer to the final stretch. But wait, before you guys go, if you found this video helpful, click the video on the screen right now. In that one, I break down the best sleeper targets that you should be trading for right now if you want to make a push in your league. Thanks for stopping by the corner. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.